It is time again for another Refried Scenes. How you doing today?
Pretty good. You realize every time I record these, I leave and then I get Mexican food because every time we say refried scenes, I immediately crave
Some refried beans. I had some earlier this week, so I think we're doing all right. Yeah, that was a clever little name for this show.
Yeah, it was.
It is me. Well, y'all know who we are. Y'all are the Patreon. So thank you for donating for at the $7 or higher tier. We appreciate your patronage, and for that, you get to hear our lovely voices.
That's right. Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Kick a couple shekels our way so we can keep this whole thing afloat. And I'm joined by, of course, one of the best podcasters in the city, Carol Coles.
Hello.
Hello. So what are we talking about this episode, ma'am?
Well, in honor of the late, great Rutger Hauer, I was trying to think of some way to talk about one of his films, and the only film that I could come up with that had actually been remade was The Hitcher.
Yeah. I took like a quick stroll through his filmography, and I was like, yep, don't think any of these other joints.
I know.
Once Rutger Hauer touched it, it was like, no, well, that's it.
Why are we going
done.
to bother?
Yeah. Sean Bean's like, I'll do it.
It's a paycheck, I'll do it.
Yeah. Do I die in the end? Yes.
I'll do it.
I'll do it. Well, actually, no, we're going to rewrite that. No.
No.
I'll die.
It's okay.
It's like he's like Mike Myers and Austin Powers. I'll die.
Wait, I survived the entire film? Okay.
I got to sit down and discuss this with my wife and my agent.
That's a bit too much on my plate.
All right, so we want to, before we do that, let's do a little bit of convo about Mr. Rutger Hauer. Now, I had you on Test Your Might the other week, which you went 1-1 now. Congratulations on your huge victory. Yes.
My huge victory of 1 point.
Hey, a W is a W is a
It's
W.
true.
One of the questions I asked was name 3 of the replicants from Blade Runner, and you rattled that shit off before I even finished the question. So would it go to stand that you are a fan of the original Blade Runner?
A huge fan of the original Blade Runner.
Uh-huh.
I also had an almost unhealthy crush on Rutger Hauer.
He is. He's got like that rugged handsomeness.
He
type look to him.
does. There is something odd about him.
Yeah.
I loved him as Roy Batty in Blade Runner. I loved him in The Hitcher as well.
Yeah.
86 was a good year for him because he had The Hitcher and he also had Lady Hawk, which is one of my favorite movies ever.
Okay. All right.
And
Rutger Hauer's on a roll.
Oh, yeah. He was just so good in Lady Hawk. He's one of those actors that was in a lot of shitty movies.
Yeah. I feel like he was just like, you want me to do what? I mean, fuck it. It's acting. I'll do it.
But he always made the shitty movies better by being in them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was really sad to hear that he passed away. And I will say that a lot of the shitty movies he did, particularly later in life, he did just to give the money to his foundation because he did run a charity.
Oh, that's what's up, man.
Yeah, the Starfish Association, which is an AIDS charity that provides education and gives help to pregnant and young children with AIDS.
That is great.
So a lot of the shit he did just to make money for the charity.
He's like, look, I'm set personally.
Yeah,
Let me
I'm
make a
fine.
couple of bucks.
I live in the Netherlands. We're good here.
I'm away from that madness across the pond.
So, yeah, you want me to star in Hobo with a Shotgun? I'll star in Hobo with a Shotgun. Actually, he's very good in Hobo with a Shotgun.
You know what? I saw the trailers and I was like, I refuse. I adamantly refuse to watch that movie.
If you like 70s Grindhouse, it is very much in that vein, and he's actually kind of good.
Well, maybe I will check it out.
But he is one of those actors that kind of made a bad movie better just by being in it.
This was the 3rd time that I had heard Rutger Hauer died. I was like, they're like, Rutger Hauer is dead. And I was like, again?
He was a replica. He was waiting. He was waiting till 2019 because that was his
prophecy must come true.
It's like, oh, Blade Runner. Okay.
They're like, Rutger Hauer's cast
Time
in
to
Sin
die.
City. And I was like, wait a minute, Rutger Hauer's still alive? That was 2005. He woke up in 2019. He's like, it's time to die. I saw tears in the rain just all over Twitter
I
and
know,
Facebook
and
that
I
day.
did the same thing. It's like it was his memoir is actually called All These Memories.
Oh, yeah.
So all these, So it's like, I enjoyed his work.
Yeah.
So
he's a good actor when
Yeah.
I saw him. And I'm like, oh, shit, I didn't know Rutger Hauer was in this. Let me get cozy.
yeah, there's a lot of films where I was like, oh yeah, like Sin City. I was like, oh yeah, he was in that.
Is in Sin City. That's right. I think it was the 2nd time he died. Okay, so one of the films he did was The Hitcher. Yes. This was
1986.
yet another classic Carol Coles consideration.
I actually kind of like this film.
Yes. Was it I think before we turned on the mics, I said this is something I've seen and kind of flipping through channels, and I was like, what's this? And watched a little bit of it, and then went to a commercial break, and then I went to something else. This is the first time I've seen it all the way through, and yeah, I fucks with this movie.
Yeah, this is a very good 80s horror film.
Yeah.
It's very 80s.
Very 80s.
Very 80s.
Yeah.
Stars C. Thomas Howell and Rutger Hauer.
I was like, what does that little boy's face look familiar? That little boy's like 18.
Stay gold, pony boy, stay gold. Yeah, because he was in The Outsiders, and he was also in Red Dawn.
That's right, Red Dawn.
He was kind of a heartthrob in the 80s. So.
Was he? I can see that.
This was kind of his first starring role. He usually did ensembles with a bunch of other pretty boys.
Reference again, The Outsiders.
The Outsiders.
And he was
Red
out-prettied in Outsiders, that's for sure.
Oh, God, yeah. Not to say that he wasn't a good-looking guy, but he was kind of out-prettied here, too, in my opinion. So. Sorry.
Out-prettied by a man in his mid-40s. Maybe late 30s.
Probably late 30s, I think. Yeah. But, so this is basically kind of a two-man show. Jennifer Jason Leigh is there.
Yeah, kind of in and out.
It's mostly C. Thomas Howell and Rutger Hauer.
Yeah. And I feel like this is 80. Blade Runner was what,
82?
82. All right, then if you're C. Thomas Howell going into this, you're like, this is really fucking bad. I better bring the lumber when I come to the set.
Reading some of the trivia, he was terrified of Rutger Hauer.
That's what you should be.
Rutger Hauer did most of his stunts in this film, including almost all of the driving.
Huh.
So, and then the very end, we'll get to the very end, but when he goes through the windshield, he knocked a tooth out doing that because he did that himself.
Yes! Rutger Hauer certified hard old man status.
But it's also funny because Jennifer Jason Leigh took this role specifically to work with Hauer because she had worked with him in Flesh and Blood, which is like this.
Oh, yeah.
I think I've only seen it once. It was a sword and sorcery movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, she wanted to work with him again. So she took this movie, and look what happened to her.
Yeah, like she kind of on the screen, I was like, is this somebody I should know? Because I don't think I've ever seen her this young before.
Yeah.
This is 80s. I think I've seen her in like Jennifer Jason Leigh. So we're talking about like late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah. She had a bit of a run there. And then she kind of disappeared from the scene for about 45 years.
Yeah. And then last year, Annihilation.
And then right before that, Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, I looked it up. I was like, oh shit, this is Jennifer Jason Leigh, and I just don't see the Jennifer Jason Leigh that I know in that face.
Yeah, not until she starts talking, because she has a very distinctive speech pattern.
Yes, she does.
She's very sardonic. Just this, I don't really care about nothing right now.
She plays those characters very well because I assume, like in real life, that's just her. Yeah.
So C. Thomas Howell plays Jim Halsey.
Yeah.
Who is transporting a car from Chicago to San Diego.
Which I didn't even know that was a thing people did in the 80s.
Yeah.
It was just like a loaner car. Like if you were in California and you read the trades, I guess, and you're like, I want to buy this car in New York, and they just send somebody.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's what happened. He said he was on the waiting list for a long time for a car going to California. Yeah. Of course, this car's never going to make it to California.
No.
Because it hit Texas. And whenever you hit Texas...
Look, you just got to go through Texas at 100 miles an hour. And 7 hours later, you'll be halfway done.
You'll be halfway there. But he's driving this car through Texas, and having driven top to bottom and side to side from Texas, it's a long, boring...
Yes, you hit that stretch of I-10, and it is just east or west. It is rough.
It's rough. Yeah. And he's falling asleep at the wheel. So he picks up a hitchhiker. He sees a guy stranded on the road and picks up the first line of the film is, my mom always told me not to do this.
So we're what, maybe 3 minutes into the movie at this point? I paused and laughed and laughed and laughed.
You should have listened to your mama, boy.
To your mom.
Damn, you should have listened to your mama.
Oh, I hope when this is all said and done, he's just like, Mom, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'll never do it again.
What happened? I'm so sorry. I'm just so sorry.
I'll always listen to you from now on. But he picks up Rutger Hauer, who is playing John Ryder.
Yes, come on with that last name, Ryder.
Yeah,
come on.
That's probably not his real name.
That too, but I'm like, really, Ryder? Come on, 80s script writers.
Incidentally, this is written by Eric Red, who wrote one of my favorite vampire films, Near Dark. If you've never seen Near Dark, oh God, I love that film. But he wrote that as well. Okay. And a lot of the humor kind of comes across here because there is some humorous moments.
There's a little bit of something here and there.
But he picks up Rutger Hauer's John Ryder, and you immediately know that something is a bit off.
Yeah, well, yeah, but just the fact that he asked him like 3 or 4 questions and dude just kind of sits there and doesn't say anything.
Where are you going?
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, the first question when you pick up a hitchhiker is going to be,
where are you going?
Where are you going? Or what happened? I'll give you either or.
Because he was next to a car, a broken down VW Bug.
Yes.
But he won't answer the question.
At that point, he might have made 100 yards. And I'm like, all right, well.
It's like, I'm getting water all over your car.
Well, that's astute observation, but I still have no idea. So do you think, this is something I wonder when I was watching the movie, do you think that he was driving a car and that car just eventually broke down and C. Thomas Howell just happened to drive it? Or did he just like, I'm just going to lay this trap right here and wait for the next person to come?
I think there's a dead body in that VW Bug.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think he was hitchhiking and
killed that person.
And they're just waiting for the next. Doesn't seem to. We'll get into it because this Jim Halsey actually reacts apparently differently than most of his other victims, which is why he starts to chase him. But I think I think he just got tired of the guy in the VW Bug and killed him. Yeah,
killed him. I don't think this guy really has a plan.
No.
He's just going to reach the end of the coast and be like, well, I guess I'll head back the other way. I'll just head
back the other way until somebody kills me. Picks him up. The guy's immediately off, won't answer questions, and then pulls out a knife. Mm-hmm. And this is 1986, so you don't have cell phones, you don't have GPS or anything like that.
Man, script writing must have been hard back in the day. You didn't have the... Well, I guess maybe script writing is harder now.
Because you have to account for the phones.
Yeah, you got to navigate around everything.
As you'll see in the remake here. But, so pulls out a knife and threatens to pop it. Asks him if he's ever seen an eyeball pop.
Which is not the question you get on an everyday basis. No. How do you answer that? You know what? No, I have not,
And apparently in this scene, that was almost all ad-libbed. And Rutger Hauer was holding that knife right to C. Thomas Howell's eye. So that fear is not acting.
Yeah, I'd have been like, cut. No, nope. I don't care if you're Roy Batty. I am out.
But Jim gets the best of him, realizes, because he tells him, say 4 words, I want to die. Mm-hmm. And Jim notices that the door is still slightly ajar.
Yeah. I was like, why do they keep cutting back to the, okay.
And he's like, I don't want to die, and just kicks him the fuck out of the car.
As you do. With my luck, it'd have been like, you know how the doors just kind of...
This is 1986, so this is an older car. My car would have been ding, 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 ding.
Right. I would try to kick him and the door wouldn't have come open, and my eyeball would have been popped out. But he kicks him out, keeps going. He had a little elation celebration of like, I narrowly escaped something wonky on that one. Yeah, probably death.
Damn Texas.
Which I thought many a times while living in Texas. But no, that's not the end.
No,
not by a long
not
shot.
at all. So John Ryder decides, okay, this is now, I now have a mission.
Yeah, right?
A side quest.
I feel like he got kicked out the car and he was like, ooh, one that fights back. I like this.
And I think that's why he starts just making this kid's life hell.
Yeah, and simultaneously chasing him, trying to murder him, and save him all at the same time.
Right. So here Jim is very stupid in the fact that he doesn't immediately pull off the road and call the police and say, hey, I just picked up a hitchhiker on this highway.
Yeah.
And he pulled a knife on me. But he doesn't. He just keeps driving.
Well, he thinks he's safe at this point. I probably honestly would do the same thing. Oof, nearly missed that one.
Yeah.
Let me keep moving.
Do I really want to stop and get involved with a police officer or whatever? So,
yeah.
The next day, he's driving down the highway, and a station wagon pulls by him with a family.
And then right in the back there.
Is John Ryder.
Just hanging out.
Telling the little kid just to point his toy gun at him and shoot him. Kill him.
And that child actor was scarred for life.
Yeah, well, yeah. So he tries to pull up alongside of them and say, hey, insane person in your backseat.
Which in both versions, they're just like, no, whatever, that kid's crazy. And,
what?
Yeah, huh? No, he's friendly so far.
There's a truck coming.
Yeah.
Did you not?
That's what, I can't remember if they... how it exactly plays out in the original, but in the remake, I'm like, why wasn't that Christian family pointing at this giant effing truck? And they all have situational awareness inside that car. Yeah. It is on 0 too.
Here, he just gets run off the road.
Yeah.
And just is shooken up a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then he pulls forward and sees the car on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And goes to investigate. And
done
of course,
and done.
Yeah, the entire family is dead.
This is such a frustrating movie.
It is.
Yeah, it is. Nope. I guarantee you, John Ryder would have never seen me again.
No.
I'd have been 100 miles.
Here he does try to do the right thing. He goes to he pulls over to the next restaurant that he sees and calls the police.
Yeah, right.
Leaves the car there. It's no cell phone, so what are you going to do? You can't go, I'm at a car and there's a dead family in it.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
So he does drive to a restaurant where he meets Nash, who's played by Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Now, something I didn't bother to look up in the credits here is Nash her first or last name?
I think it's her first name. You're never really told. Okay. I think in the credits she's just referred to as Nash.
Really? That's who names their daughter?
Nashville.
It's
probably Nashville.
Nashville, Texas. Yep, it just says Nash.
Nash.
Yeah.
Yep. As Nash. That could just be a nickname too.
Oh God, I'm hoping, and if so, that's a horrible nickname. Like it's better than Cash, but.
But he calls the police and says there's a dead family out on I-10, and she kindly makes him a cheeseburger.
And it was a damn tasty looking cheeseburger.
Yeah, and some finger fries. And
finger foods.
So she's off cleaning the back, and he's just eating his cheeseburger, waiting for the police to show up. And there's a finger in his French fries.
So that was a tip-off that he is
following him.
Yeah. I don't understand how you. He came back to the burger and fries already sitting there waiting for him, or did she put him in front?
She put him in front.
How did she not notice the finger?
But she had put them on the counter. Because it was one of those greasy diners where you make stuff and you put it up on the counter, but there's no like doorway from the front. She had to go back around to actually grab it. So I'm assuming he's just in this place. Now, this is after. Okay, there is a section at the gas station. Is that after?
I should have watched this more recently.
Yeah, I just watched this yesterday. And I'm trying to think. Weekend. Yeah. It was, there is he stops at an abandoned gas station trying to find it.
That's right. And then he shows up there at the gas station. I feel like that's after.
Because
I think that's the first time they come face to face.
Right.
Is at that little gas station.
Because, because he's arrested at the Greasy Diner.
Okay, so after the station wagon.
So after the station wagon, he stops at this abandoned gas station trying to find a phone.
Yeah, he's looking for a phone. Yeah. And that's when they come face to face.
And they come face to face. And Ryder has a truck now.
Yeah, he upgrades a lot.
He upgrades a lot, yeah. Has a truck now and hands him his keys. Doesn't kill him here. Comes face to face with him and goes, oh, here's your keys.
Yeah, thinking back on it, how much did he actually try to kill Jim? Not too often. Not too much. He just wanted to fuck with him a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. This guy's worse than Pennywise.
I know. This dude's and he's evil. He has several opportunities where he can kill Halsey, and he doesn't.
That's right.
He gives him outs each time. This is the biggest one because, I mean.
There's nothing Jim could have done.
No, because he shows up at the Greasy Spoon smelling like gasoline.
Mm-hmm.
He dumps gasoline all over the place, and then slowly, Ryder lights a match.
On what? I'm not sure. And I'm like, is there a grip tape on that? Because he lights it on the side mirror there.
Oh.
And I'm like, what? No, the side mirror's not going to ignite that match. But okay, whatever. Semantics.
But he gets away, gets to the Greasy Spoon, gets his finger fries, and runs out vomiting because he vomits a lot in this film.
You would be too if you ate a severed finger. I feel like that's cause for vomit.
Yeah. And
also, our band name's going to be cause for vomit.
It was a lady's finger too because it had a nice fingernail on it and a ring and everything. It was like, oh man, that was that mother's finger from the station wagon. Yeah. Runs out vomiting, and the police arrest him, thinking he killed the family.
Yeah, the police don't do a lot of. Well, I guess you.
I think
it doesn't do a whole lot of investigation. Just like him, get him. We've never seen his face before.
Right. So they arrest him, bring him to the local jail, where they immediately know this kid's not a killer.
Yeah, I did like that guy.
Yeah,
he kind of gives him gives him the business for a little bit, and as soon as he's not in front of him, he's like, all right, we know it's not
this kid's not the killer. So they put him in lockup for overnight till they can verify his story or whatnot.
Yeah.
And of course, Ryder shows up in the cast. You don't see that this is an amazingly bloodless R-rated film.
It is. You see a lot of aftermath, but you rarely see the actual doing
happening.
of. Yeah.
Because the next day, Halsey wakes up from a nightmare and his jail cell is open. Again, Ryder had an opportunity to just walk into the jail cell and kill him.
But nope.
Nope, just unlocks it. And he has killed the 3 officers that are.
Now, I find it...
But not the dog. Thank you.
No, he's a good guy at heart. I find it weird not weird, but very coincidental that they gave him 2 phone calls. And both calls, nobody picks up. I think the first one was like maybe his parents.
No, the first one was to the company that he's driving the car.
Yeah, I thought it was the second.
And the second was to his brother.
Yeah, that's right, man. His brother was just like, nope, don't know that number.
Oh God, no.
Texas.
Shit, I'm not answering that.
I'm not answering that. Might be John Ryder.
But they basically lock him up just as for holding until they can get a hold of somebody because it's the weekend apparently.
Yeah, I assumed it was the weekend because there's a lot of emptiness going on in this movie, and I assume people are either at home or
And I do like that this jail is it's a normal jail cell. We'll get into the remake in a little bit, but it's just a normal middle of Texas.
Yeah, middle
cell.
of nowhere. Yeah, a couple of pens.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah, he kills the 3 officers there, lets Jim out.
Lets the dog out to eat the officers.
Yes. And here's where Jim makes his monumentally stupid decision of picking up one of the guns that is left behind and running.
Is it still, I mean, you got to look at it from his perspective, man. Yeah. What else is he going to do?
I would have locked up that jail. I would have locked myself in that jail cell again, flushed the keys. I was in here the whole time. What are you talking about? I was locked up here.
Oh, you know what? That's not a bad idea.
They were screaming and I was hearing stuff, but I couldn't get out.
That's okay.
I would have been like, yeah.
Because how long did it take for the next police people to get there?
They started to, when he goes out the back door, they're arriving.
That's right. They're coming in as he's
They're arriving.
Yeah, so all I had to do is wait 15 minutes.
Yeah. So, but he grabs a gun and leaves and then goes to a bus stop where he sneaks onto the bus.
Yeah, very easily, by the way.
Yeah, and going home on that bus is Nash.
Yes. Who, I guess takes the bus every day. Both way to work. She spent her whole paycheck on bus fare.
Yeah, I mean that's a luxury bus. That's not like a standard bus. That's a tour bus.
Well, I guess Nash is living good at the restaurant.
Well, it's owned by your uncle. So, the police pull the bus over and pull him out, and this is kind of a harrowing scene. Because they have him unarmed.
Yes.
And then the police officer is like, you just spit on my wrist.
That's right. And I was like, nothing's changed since 1986.
No. You just spit on my wrist, wipe it off. Yeah. And of course, Halsey knows exactly what is happening. It's like, I can't do that. I really can't do that. And then Nash comes out with the gun because he had left the gun with her.
Yeah, Nash, man, she's making some hella risks.
Yeah, this is her stupid decision. It's like, okay, you're not going to do this. I can't believe you're going to do this right here.
Yeah, I just met that man 15 minutes ago.
I know. He's obviously not a killer. Look at his face.
He's from the Outsiders.
You stay gold, pony boy. Come on. So they steal a police car, and then you get this horrendous car chase scene that ends with some pretty damn good stunts because these cars just go flippy-flip.
Yeah, they got some Blues Brothers stunts going on in this.
Those cops are not getting out of that car.
No, I had that thought when I was watching the movie. I was like, well, done for them. Cash their pensions.
And they drive slowly by, and it's like, we're not even going to just keep going. Just keep going.
Yeah, a lot of stuff that they are doing in this movie, I was like, they're doing the same thing.
So they go to a motel to hide out for a little bit, and he just, she calls her dad, and then he takes a shower because he's probably filthy at this point.
He's got to be like, part of me at first I was just like, we don't have time for showers, and then I'm like, you need some sense of like normalcy. But then you can just put the same dirty ass clothes right back on. Yeah,
because he's lost a lot of his luggage. His car's gone. That car's not making it to San Diego.
No, it is not.
And he gets out of the shower, and Nash is gone because while he was in the shower, Ryder has shown up.
Yep. Snatch Nash.
Snatch Nash. Yes, he does this little cuddle scene with her, which is really kind of weird.
Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit more in the remake.
Next one. Yeah. Oh, good. But does this little cuddle scene with her and then grabs her. And when Halsey leaves the motel, the police grab him and says, "We need your help," because Ryder has Nash chained between two semis.
Which bears the question of how long did Jim shower for?
I know.
He was able to snatch Nash up and then quietly, I might add.
Yeah. And the police have time to show up, assess the situation, find him, and go, okay, yeah, we know you're not the villain here now.
Yeah, Jim's like, I'm going to be back. I'll take a 45-minute long shower. Everyone else in the motel's like, where's the hot water?
Come on. But yes, he has Nash strung between two semis, and he has one running, and he's like, my foot comes off the clutch. She dies.
It's a wrap on her.
Yeah, so they send Halsey into the truck to talk to him because that's what he wants.
Yeah.
And he's
I'm Halsey. I'm like, I don't care what he wants. I'm not going to that truck.
And Ryder tells him he wants him to kill him. He wants him to kill him, and it's like, I can't because your foot will come off the damn clutch.
You put all of us in a weird situation right now, buddy. It's lose-lose.
And when he does not pull the trigger and kill him, he
takes his foot off the clutch.
Takes his foot off the clutch, and there goes Nash.
Hate to see it, man.
Again, this is not a scene you do not see it in the original.
No, you don't.
All you see is just her screaming.
All intimated.
Yeah, and then at that point, he's at the police station. They've arrested Ryder, and they know that Halsey's. He's like, we're sorry, kid. We're really sorry.
Sorry,
your girlfriend of 15 minutes is. You now have two girlfriends, depending.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Sorry.
You're a horrible person.
But they're transporting Halsey to like a metropolitan area so he can call his parents or something like that to pick him up.
Yeah, they probably won't pick up.
No. And then they're transporting Ryder to a facility, and they've got him in the back of a
big SWAT type
joint, and they're driving off.
The Hooskow.
Yeah, and Jeffrey DeMunn shows up for half a second here.
Yes.
As the police officer who's transporting James, and James is like, "No, I know how this is going to go down." So he pulls a gun on him and kicks him out of his car, which is probably a good thing for him, and then takes the car and follows the Ryder's transport, which is also a good thing because, of course, Ryder's
wrecking havoc inside the car.
He's just killed everybody.
Yeah. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. Slow down for a day or two.
Nope. Has killed everybody. Comes out of the burning wreckage of the SWAT van. And no, is it? I don't know if it's burning in this one. No, it's not.
No, it's burning in the other one.
It's burning in the other one. But comes out of the wreckage, and Halsey just shoots him.
Yeah.
Now, he jumps out of the SWAT. That's where he busted his tooth out, because he jumps out of the SWAT van onto the windshield.
Yeah, that's right.
And they crash.
That's right.
And then
he just gets out.
He gets out.
Shoots him there.
Originally, the ending had him just shooting him while he was prone on the ground, but the studio execs were like, "No,
that's a bit too cold-blooded.
That's a bit too. Yeah, we need him to get up." So he stands up, staggers up, and shoots him again. And then that's the end of the film. It's just like, boom, lights a cigarette.
And credits.
Yep, lights a cigarette. Say, yeah, my job here's done. That car's not making it to San Francisco, but.
So what's he's going to show up in San Francisco and be like, "Look, some shit happened on the way. You don't have a car, but some shit happened on the way."
Read the newspapers, dude.
Turn on the news.
You can probably make some money by saying, "My car was destroyed by John Ryder."
That was my car. That was my car. Insurance companies lighting up all over the place.
But he's got some explaining to do to the police as well, because I mean, technically he did kill somebody, but
oh yeah, I mean they can still throw him in for murder.
Yeah.
No self-defense.
Self-defense, but he did put himself in the situation by kicking the police officer out of his own car and following the truck.
So I'm going to go ahead and say that he was still thrown in jail 15 years after this.
Yeah, probably.
The question is, did he stay golden while he was in jail? This movie, man. This movie was dopeness.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed watching this movie. I meant to look up and see what the reception of it was.
It was not. It did poorly in the box office.
61% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I do not agree with that. It also did poorly in the box office. It has become a cult classic. As a lot of Rutger Hauer movies have.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But it did very poorly at the box office. It did not. But I think mostly because it was rated R, and it's kind of difficult in that time frame. It was kind of difficult unless you're doing like a straight slasher Friday the 13th thing. Your horror films didn't fare too well if they were R.
Yeah.
And apparently the studio execs wanted it gorier. But
they wanted the gore, but they wouldn't let him shoot him while he was on the ground.
Right. They wanted the gore. They were very disappointed that they did not show Nash dying. But I'm like, I don't need to see that.
It makes a better, more tasteful movie.
Yeah, I think it makes it better that you don't see that, as we'll see in the remake.
Yeah, you got to leave something to the imagination.
Yeah, and I think this leaves a lot to the imagination because you don't see the family in the station wagon.
Yeah, like I said, you see a lot of that aftermath.
You don't see the guy in the VW bug. You don't see a lot. You see the police officers dead.
True.
But it's not exceptionally gory. This is kind of a low-key R, but it's violent. You can't say it's not violent though.
Yeah, it does fall in that weird zone of violent, but not a lot of blood, but it is like a soft R.
Yeah, and I really like the soundtrack to this film, which is very it's very 80s, but it's very atmospheric.
Right.
It's almost like Vangelis or Tangerine Dream. Lots of just soothing synthesizers going throughout.
Which is not the movie for soothing synthesizers.
Which is weird
at all.
But it adds to it. I think, I like this film a whole lot.
I think if you make this film today, it wouldn't be R.
No.
It'd be a PG-13.
It'd be PG-13.
Yeah, probably still wouldn't make money, but it'd be a PG-13 joint. Dug this movie. Now let's talk about
the remake.
Obviously this movie did well enough to get a sequel, though.
The remake got a sequel.
Is it the remake that got a sequel?
I think the remake got a sequel. It was the weird thing. The sequel came out after the remake, but it's a sequel to the original because I think it stars C. Thomas Howell.
Okay, then.
I have not seen Hitcher 2.
Okay, all right.
I'm tempted, though. After watching these two, I'm tempted just to see what the hell they did with it.
You watch it, you let me know.
Yeah. So I think this is 2005, 2006?
7, I thought.
Is it?
I got to pull it up here. Yep, 7.
7, okay. So Michael Bay produced film.
Platinum Dunes. When that came up on the screen, I was like, oh, this is what I'm in for.
Yeah.
Because Platinum Dunes just went under earlier this year, I think.
So it's like they took this nice film from the 80s that was really atmospheric and very tense. Because the one thing about the 86 film is you're tense almost the entire time. Because you have no idea when Rutger Hauer's going to show up.
Yeah, this is more of a thriller, I think, than
this
a
is
horror.
more, it's almost more just straight out serial killer horror.
Yeah.
It's like they took this film and it's like, we can make it go to 11. Because you just
pretty much
start with a rabbit being run over on the road.
I did like that. Because it's so unexpected. Because you're like, all right, because I'm looking at the rabbit as it's what your eyes focus on. The rabbit's looking out for the car, and he's like, okay, I got time. I can make it. Starts his journey, and then whack. Look both ways, man. You got to look both ways.
Yeah. So poor
Bunny. That got a chuckle out of me.
Poor Bunny. So our lead character here is Grace, who I didn't like 5 minutes into this film.
Is Grace the lead character? I feel like Jim was a lead character
first
Jim
off,
gets
they have a
clapped
couple, not just one guy.
Yeah, which I thought that was an interesting
interesting added development. But the fact is, I didn't like Grace at all. I mean, they're going on vacation to meet her friends, so obviously she planned this vacation. She's late getting up. She's in her pajamas when she comes running out of college.
Yeah.
And she immediately has to stop to pee, like 6 blocks.
Like, yo, you should just pee to the door. Yeah, I
don't like you.
One thing that really pushes my buttons are people that are late to an event that we have planned.
Yeah. And she obviously planned this because they're meeting her friends. It's like, I don't think he would, hey, honey, let's take a vacation and go meet your friends.
Yeah, no, that's not what happens. That's not how vacations go.
So they're driving through, is it Texas here or is it New Mexico?
It's New Mexico because Neil Donna says the great state of New Mexico.
Yeah, because I think Texas is like, damn it, enough.
Quote Texas.
So they're in New Mexico. I don't even remember where they're going.
They never say.
Okay.
They never say. They leave a nondescript college heading somewhere.
Somewhere in his old car.
It's a nice car.
It's a nice car.
Yeah.
It was a nice car.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it.
Cars don't last long in this movie.
No. So they're driving and it's raining. Pouring down. Oh, that was the other thing, because the song that is playing when she gets into the car in the morning, it's like moving on. Yeah, is still playing on the radio at night. I'm like, does this station have only one song?
You got to think about radio, man. If it's a hit song, man, it's played every like 15 minutes. It seems like.
So they're driving through at night. It's raining, and they almost hit somebody standing in the middle of the road.
Right.
Do a nice 360.
Nice little 360.
Yeah. It's everything is turned to 11 here, including Sean Bean, who is standing in the middle of the road.
Look, I'll say this, man. The script writing is
Yeah.
Our leads are Sean Bean's doing what he can. This movie is saved by editing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he comes over to the car, and Grace is immediately like, no, don't. You're not going to let him in. This is actually the smartest thing she does in this film. It's like, you're not letting him in.
Like, I feel so conflicted because I'm like, no, don't let this man in. But then, like, I'm like, it's raining. That dude could need some help, man. We might have been the 50th car to pass this guy by.
Both of these two have cell phones.
True.
So what you do is you roll down your window, 2 inches. You say, hey, I've called the police. You can get back into your car, and they'll be over to help you. You don't have to let him into your car.
True. Very good point. Very good point.
So Halsey in the original didn't have that.
Didn't have that option. No. His
Here,
mama told him.
Yeah. Both of these two have cell phones.
Yeah, they could have. Well, no, because there's no signal there, though.
Of course. But 911, you can usually get a signal through.
True.
Yeah. So
when we take Refried scenes on the road, and when there's somebody side of the highway, you be the voice of reason.
We've called the police.
Just don't get your lips out the window.
Bye.
You might catch a cold. Get back in that car.
So use the dead body in there to warm yourself. So they drive on. She convinces him to just peel out.
Yeah.
Bye.
And which before that, like when Sean Bean's approaching and he's like, the engine's flooded. I'm like, flooded with what? With what? You were just driving 2 seconds ago. The rain's not flooding your engine. What's it flooded with?
Convenience. It's flooded with convenience.
There's too much convenience in here.
So they drive on, stop for gas because she has to use the restroom again.
I thought that was actually going to be a plot point later on in the movie. She's going to get killed on the toilet one of these days.
But they're getting out of a truck. He doesn't kill this dude. Getting out of a truck and going to use the phone is John Ryder. It's the guy that they left on the road.
I wonder if he's like, fuck, I don't know how to drive this truck. All right, this guy can still live.
Like, oh, shit, an 18-wheeler. I don't know. I don't have a license for that.
I should have got that CDL when I had the chance.
And they offer him a ride. Or actually, I should say Jim offers him a ride. Grace is like, what the fuck you doing?
Well, no, to be fair, she was like, you offered him. And he was like, no, I didn't offer. He asked. Yeah, which...
At that point, you're Jim. Kind of... Yeah.
Well, I mean, that dumbass clerk put him in the whole situation.
Seriously. Again, the movie has to turn it up to 11. I got kicked by a donkey in the back. You can't milk a donkey. You just can't milk a donkey. What? Why are we talking about milking donkeys?
But this is the kind of guy I expect to see at convenience stores.
In New Mexico.
Now, my question is, I think Sean Bean suspected it was them.
Oh, yeah.
When he first
I think he probably recognized him when he walked out. He's trying to hide his face.
He's trying to hide his face in the hot dog.
Yeah.
And I think Bean kind of like, is that the? Yeah. And he gets more of a confirmation when
he probably recognized the car.
He probably recognized
it's
the car.
It's a very recognizable car.
Very good point.
So,
but then that clerk was there. This must be the guy you're talking about.
Just heading down the road.
Hey, marble mouth.
Give him a ride.
Stay out of this.
So he gives him a ride, and of course things go badly.
Sour, quite sour.
Ryder takes his cell phone and breaks it.
Yeah, as you do.
Anyone reaches for my cell phone in my car, I'm like, gee, no.
All of Paprika's on the cell phone. My life is on here.
And then threatens Grace with a knife, and they overpower him and throw him out of the car.
Yeah, they managed to kick him out just like they...
kind of like in the first film.
Yeah.
And drive on. And again, they don't stop and call the police and say, hey.
Correct, yeah.
This is probably more egregious than the first one.
Because there's opportunity.
There's more opportunity here to just say, hey, there's a weirdo on the street.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they could have had any number of opportunities. By that point, from... 1986 to 2007. Towns have been built up.
Yeah.
There's gas stations every couple miles.
There's very few isolated highways. There's roadways that are isolated, but main thoroughfare highways usually have a gas station every few miles now.
Even in New Mexico.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But they don't. And they drive down, and the next day, a station wagon pulls by. Nice Christian family. Mm-hmm. Are they going to heaven?
A lot sooner than they expected.
Yeah, because in the back seat, again, is Sean Bean.
Which, look, if If you got to remake anything of Rutger Hauer, I guess Sean Bean's probably
your best choice.
Your best option.
Yeah, it's your best choice. But
I'm not sure what this accent he is doing in this movie.
I don't know either.
I'm not sure if he was trying to do an American accent or it sounded like weirdly Irish at some points.
Yeah, it's not good.
Whatever
but
it
he
is,
doesn't
it's not
say
good.
A whole lot.
So,
also is good. But they pull us alongside and try and warn them. And here, of course, they're not just run off the side of the road. They're run down a ditch and into a tree.
Yeah, that car's wrecked.
Yeah, there's a branch sticking through the windshield.
Oh, yeah.
And they go up to the highway and start walking and find the station wagon. And, of course, the families, well, not all of them are dead.
No, that dude's still alive.
Yeah, Dad's still alive. Mom and kid are dead.
Done.
And
I assume the mom's finger got cut off to appear in some other movie somewhere else.
Yeah. We'll use that trophy elsewhere. But they take this car and drive to a local diner. And here again, this is not, you don't walk into the diner at this point covered in blood and go, call 911, where's your bathroom? You say, call 911, there's a guy bleeding out there. He's been stabbed by a hitchhiker. We're trying to keep him alive. Call 911. Where's towels? She doesn't give any information when she walks in here.
No, there's a lot of times I was like, well, that was a dumb thing to do.
Yeah.
More in this than I understand from the 86 version that, like, you're not thinking straight in this scenario.
No.
You're just doing, like, this seems like the good idea right now.
And at that point, there was no urgency because the family was dead.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to save anybody. Here, the dad's still alive.
Here's just a lot of dumbass decisions.
Yeah. And so she runs to the bathroom to get paper towels because...
Yeah, they're like, we got paper towels in the bathroom. Like, that's not the kind of towels we need right now.
No, he's bleeding to death from stab wounds. That's what you need to tell this waitress, but she doesn't say anything.
No.
And the cops show up, like, in 10 seconds.
Yeah, cops are ubiquitous in these movies.
Yeah, in 86... She actually, when he calls the cops at the diner, she's like, it's going to take 45 minutes for them to get here. Yeah, guy got shot across the street. Here, they're there in 45 seconds.
You're right.
She doesn't have time to get all of the paper towels out of the table.
Now, is that Sean Bean trying to get in there, or is that the cop trying to get in there?
I think that's the cop trying to get in there, and she freaks out.
Yeah.
And then she comes out, and the cops...
Because he's hiding on the other side of the door there.
And the cops arrest them. And take them to this dungeon of a jail. It has like no windows or it's so dark. It's 2007, so it already has that horror sepia tone filter on it.
I guess their holding cells are about 5 miles below the surface of the planet.
Water is dripping all over the place. It's just
old man with keys cackling for some reason.
There's bones in this. I was like, oh, come on, guys. But they keep her upstairs because she's pretty.
Oh, she's being interrogated. Yes,
questioned. And while she's being questioned in the interrogation room, I'm using air quotes, Ryder shows up and kills everybody.
Yeah, which I kind of like the way they did that because he's in the process, I assume, of killing everyone as that phone is ringing.
It's ringing. Yeah.
Which kind of tips off the guy investigating, like, is anybody going to pick up that fucking phone? Which he was not paying a lot of attention in this investigation if he's worried about the phone ringing.
Yeah, so he draws a little smiley face in blood on the interrogation window.
Yeah.
And she leaves, finds everybody dead, grabs a gun and the keys and goes and lets Jim out.
Right.
And they make a break for it.
They escape out the back, which I'm not sure why a place like this needs a back door, but maybe it's like the fire escape or something like that.
I don't know, but they make a break for it.
Emergency door.
Make a run, and here's where they get into the little argument. If you hadn't given him a ride.
Which, yes, she makes sense, but also he was just a kind-hearted person, man. He's a kind-hearted person.
Just to make matters worse, Ryder throws a truck at them. Out of nowhere.
I wish you two would stop arguing. Here, take this truck.
Just throws a truck at him. Yeah. Just because out of nowhere a truck falls.
Yeah, and it was the truck we'd seen him driving previously.
Before. So I'm like, okay, just throw a truck. But they run to this junkyard. Where cops pull up, and Jim's like, I'm going to go talk to them. And they go to arrest him, and she comes out with the gun. She does the Nash thing. You're let him go, let him go.
Yeah.
Only here, Ryder is
in a bus. A bus with broken out windows.
Right, and shoots one of the cops. Yeah. And they immediately think she shot the cop.
This is when I was like 98% fuck Grace.
Yeah.
And then this is what put me to the full 100. Like just right there is where you explain the goddamn situation.
Yeah.
Not take his gun.
And you tell them, you need to get into this building right now because there is a madman with a gun, because they've seen him. They've seen him walking. They know he's in the area, but she says nothing.
No.
It's just like, come right out with a gun. You go, let him go. And then they take the cop car, and then that's when we get the cop chase. And here it's even more, because Ryder comes up with
Trans Am.
With a Trans Am.
Yeah,
where did he come up with that one?
Yeah.
Oh, he's just finding cars. Throwing cars, finding cars.
This is the scene that frustrated me the most, I think. Because at this point, we've seen the I guess you could say the lead investigator. This is Neil McDonough.
It's Neil McDonough.
Comes in, a very, very adept, smart, capable man.
Yes.
Because if she's in here and he's locked down
there, who drew this?
Who drew this on the interrogation window? Which I was like, shout out to the screenwriters for putting that little bit in there, and shout out to.
You would think he would get on the road and go, "We have a." Well, he says we have a third.
Well, he says it to the people in the room, but not on the radio.
Not on the radio. We have a third suspect. There's a third. You need all of the cops looking for them to know that.
Yes.
But no, nothing is said.
So the chase is going on. Helicopters in the sky. You got Sean Bean coming up with the Trans Am, taking him out one by one. They are talking to him on the radio.
I know.
And they're like, hey, your third suspect, the guy who's doing all this is here. He's behind us.
He's chasing all of us.
Hey, cops, all of you on the radio, look in your rear view mirror right now.
Yeah.
That's the guy.
And
no, they are talking to them on the radio. And when shit goes down, they're like, they're not talking to this radio anymore.
Yeah, they're not talking. They're saying stuff like, please help me. Or there was some weird ass. I was looking at the subtitles. I'm like, what the hell are they saying on the radio?
Yeah, because she's saying, help us, please help us. But she's still not explaining the situation.
Right. And then even the cops are like, I can't feel my legs or something like that. I'm like, okay, why are you pushing I can't feel my leg on the radio?
It was weird time. So, we're talking about your legs, Jerry.
Yeah, it's just, it was, that whole scene was made just so you can have this huge chase and explosions.
Yeah, and Sean Bean dispatches of them all quite easily. Even the guy in the helicopter.
The guy in the helicopter. Yeah. And nothing is said about this third person.
No.
And so they go to a motel, much like Nash and Jim from the first one.
And this is where I'm like, look, there's a madman. Well, I'm not trying to kill them, but a madman on the loose regardless. Why are they taking a shower together?
Yeah.
It's got to be you keep a lookout on things while I will take a shower. And then we'll switch it up.
Right. No. Because Nash in the first one was still unsure because she I think at that point she hadn't even seen Ryder.
No.
She was just basing this based on the fact that Jim seemed like a nice guy.
As far as I know, Nash doesn't see Ryder until Ryder's got her chained up.
Yeah. Yep.
In this case, and they're just all like have their little almost sexiest, cuddling in the shower. And I'm like, this ain't the time for sex.
Rock music. Oh, and that was the other thing that pissed me off about that chase scene. They used 9-inch nails, and I was like, are you kidding me? Trent, I am ashamed that you gave permission to this.
She was like, look, I got bills to pay, all right? It's lights and groceries. You got to get paid.
And a kid. I got
a kid in college.
So they go to the motel. They have their nice little cuddle shower. She lays down while he says he's going to go call their parents.
Yeah.
He's going to.
I'll be back in 15 minutes. 3
hours later, she watches the entirety of The Birds.
The Birds was on. I was like, okay.
And then she falls asleep, and of course Ryder breaks in, and then we get oh God, this pissed me off so much because he starts to
rubbing on the hip.
Rubbing on her hip. Hey, stop, you're making me horny.
Yeah, and there.
Are you serious?
No, this is.
Are you seeing dead kids? Cops explode.
Yeah, helicopter, you've been chased by the police.
And now you're
you're making me horny. Look, I'm horny like 98% of the time. This is the 2% right here.
I'd be like, What the hell, dude?
What do you want? Can we please get a good night's rest so we're clear-headed in the morning?
That's right. We've got a maniac.
Yeah,
but of course, that is the maniac. And he, straddles her. And I'm assuming this was going to be a sexual assault if she hadn't, broken a lamp on him.
Yes. Yes. Because as soon as he hops into the car at the very beginning, he's like, I'm interested in her back there.
Which I did not like that aspect added to this.
No.
At all.
Yeah, there's that whole creepy bit with him and her. It was unnecessary.
I didn't like that at all.
Yeah.
So she locks herself in the bathroom. I don't know how she overpowered him and closed the door. That I'm like, no, she's like 95 pounds, maybe.
I feel bad for her. She's been doing all these running in those dumbass cowboy boots.
No, those things have got to stink.
They stink. Her feet probably hurt like a mofo.
But she locks herself in the bathroom and then goes out to find Jim when Ryder goes away. I have a gun.
Jim!
And then finds Jim tied between two trucks.
If I were Jim, as soon as she took that gag off, I say 15 minutes. It's been hours. You're just now looking for me.
I know you're a Hitchcock fan, but come on.
This was not the time to watch The Birds.
It's not even one of his best films.
That's Tippi Hedren. Is that Tippi Hedren?
That's Tippi Hedren, yes.
Okay, yeah.
Birdemic. He's tied up between the two semis. Here, the cops are not like aware of this. They're not like the first one. They're like, you need to help us.
They show up. Well, yeah, they come into the scene aware. Here, the cops are just like,
what's going on? What's going on?
Yeah.
She gets into the truck to talk to Ryder and points a gun at him and says, "You're gonna let him go. You're gonna let him." The cops are like, "Put the gun down.
Now, do you shoot him? Yes or no?
I probably would. It's a no-win situation because.
Yeah,
I'm like,
he's a madman. He's probably going to do it anyways, which he does.
I'm going to try. What I'm going to try and do is shoot him and just like kill the truck or what.
Right. Yeah. But then again, with the cops not knowing, all they're going to see is you shooting.
Somebody.
Yeah, she really is in a lose situation.
Yeah, she's in a lose situation. Halsey in the first one, he probably should have just taken the shot.
Yeah.
But she doesn't shoot him, and of course. You actually see it at this point. You see Jim get ripped apart.
Yeah, which I mean, you might see about 2 seconds of it, but you see enough.
You're
like, oh, and there's entrails.
And now I don't need to imagine that anymore.
Yeah.
So, and they take her back to the police department, and because they know now that she's innocent, and it's all John Ryder, and they don't know who he is, and
he doesn't show up in any of our databases.
He's got John Ryder's driver's license. I'm like, oh, come on. Did he just like kill this dude and go, John Ryder? That's a good name.
Also, let me take this ID in case I need it. This guy's
because
nothing
I look
like me.
just like this curly haired.
Ralph Macchio? Gonna put that in the old back pocket there.
I would have loved it if it was just like it was C. Thomas Howell's picture.
That'd have been a great way to honor the original.
But they're transporting him, and then they're going to transport her to Albuquerque for stress or for
trauma. Whatever.
Trauma and have therapy. Her parents pick her up, and for some bizarre reason, they're following the truck.
I guess, I was like, I guess that's the only way to go to Albuquerque.
Why would you not space this out so your trauma victim's not looking at the truck transporting?
That was my issue. Like this was the first big screw up. Well, this is the first big screw up by Neil McDonough. Yeah. But if they had none, then he'd just be out on the loose again.
Right. So he, of course,
fortuitous.
This is again. I don't believe him yanking his hands out of those handcuffs.
No.
Not without dislocating his thumb.
Well, he does dislocate his thumb.
Does he dislocate his thumb?
Yeah, you see him pull it, you hear the crack, and then it cuts to his face, and you show there's no emotional reaction.
This cop is watching him.
Just there. This dude's squirming right behind you. The blood's coming off his hands.
And he's obviously trying to get his hands loose. You hear the crack, and the cop's just like, yeah, what you doing?
What I found entertaining is the conversation that the two cops are having.
They're talking about Build-A-Bear.
Build-A-Bear. And he's just like, they fucking rip you off, man. Which, as a person who had a daughter that loved Build-A-Bear, I'm just like, I feel you, buddy. That shit's $100 easy.
But
that paycheck's gone.
He kills the cops, kills all the cops. Neil McDonough crashes his car, gets trapped in the car.
Yeah, his foot gets trapped because the other car that had nothing to do with this whole situation just pins up against. Yeah.
And he tells Grace, run, run. And she's like, no, I'm ending it here. Takes his gun and gets locked in.
Like, your hero moment was about 2 minutes.
2 minutes too late there, honey. Wow, that was impressive. Gets locked in the transport van. With the dead bodies.
Right. Lights that bad boy on fire from, I guess, all the leaking gasoline.
Yeah, and then Sean Bean, because you had to have Sean Bean walking through flames.
You got to. It's a nice
necessary.
Shot. It's a nice shot.
And he goes over and shoots Neil McDonough, and I'm just like, what a waste of a decent character. The only
smart person in this entire movie.
And you just wasted him.
And also, like, damn good actor.
Yeah, and you just completely wasted him.
He is wasted as a character in this movie. He's wasted as an actor in this movie.
It's just, and then she shoots him. She gets out of the van.
And she reaches into the front cab and gets the shotgun.
Gets the shotgun, jumps in little cowboy boots.
That's what pissed me off. She jumps, immediately falls to the ground, loses the. Had she jumped and landed with it, she might have been able to save Neil McDonough.
Sensible shoes. She had been wearing sensible shoes.
Also, well, she was going on vacation. She didn't need sensible shoes.
She had to have some in the luggage. When you crash the car and you have to walk on the highway, first thing I'm doing is, where's my sneaks?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I'm
not going to walk this highway in the cowboy
boots. Yeah.
So, but she was running out at, she had 30 seconds to run out of her college dorm room. She's bringing her pillow and her clothes.
She would have been awake and well packed by this point. We wouldn't have had this issue.
Grace. Anyway.
But yeah, so Grace gives Sean Bean shoots him in the chest, which makes no sense because he's wearing
a bulletproof vest.
A bulletproof vest to shoot him in the face, please. And eventually she does that.
Yeah. And that's literally it ends much like the first one, right there.
Right there.
This is
fate's unknown. I guess she starts walking on the highway again.
Walking in her cowboy boots.
Yeah. Well, no, the SWAT van. No, it was on fire.
That was on fire.
Yeah.
So
everybody's fucked. Well,
there's a
rest Neil Madonna's body out of it.
Yeah, maybe you can drive his car, or maybe the car that hit them. What happened to that car?
Oh no, there's no people in that car. We see no people at all. Yeah.
Maybe they start Ryder through another car mentally or something.
But yeah, that's how that bad boy ends.
Yeah. So this was a completely unnecessary remake, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on record here as saying
it's the original all the way here.
21% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, and that's deserved. I'm not understanding why. I don't think this was a huge box office success.
No, man. No, there's no way.
I mean,
no way. With all the explosions and whatnot, it took a little bit of
the budget had to have been like
25 mil is what this movie made.
Oh my God.
All it made.
Sean, I hope at least 5 of that went to you.
It made 7 mil in the opening week. It looks like it had just a lifetime gross of 25 with no idea what the budget was.
Oh, okay.
Each removed from cinemas after 6 weeks.
So I can't fathom why they chose to remake The Hitcher. I understand it's a cult classic, so I can understand looking at it and going, well, we can update it.
Yeah.
But they don't update it enough or well enough to make it a decent film.
No, I mean that's kind of the track record Platinum Dunes has. Is that they don't.
We'll get the rights to this cult classic really cheap, and we'll throw something out there.
Probably cheap, throw something out there. I can't remember any great thing Platinum Dunes has done.
But yeah, this is the original all the way. There's something about Rutger Hauer's performance in the original that I just kind of love.
Unnerving.
He's obviously deranged and dangerous.
Yeah.
But he's also just kind of sad.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't get that from Sean. Sean Bean's just a psychopath.
Sean Bean's just menacing.
Yeah.
It's just from start to finish menacing.
And Rutger Hauer has a little bit of sadness in the eyes.
Yeah,
I feel like something happened.
Yeah, he's wearing a wedding ring, which I found unusual. And they don't explain it.
Yeah, I do like the explanation they give for Sean Bean wearing a wedding ring. To make him seem trustworthy. So he's a psychopath with plans.
But again, it was something from the original that they felt the need to explain or show that I don't think needed explanation. I kind of like the ambiguity of Ryder in the first one, where you don't know where he came from, you don't know what happened to him, you don't even know what his name is because they don't find any ID on him.
Right.
So John Ryder's just a name he picked up, or is that actually his name? You don't know. So,
good point. Point.
Yeah.
Or he's just comfortable giving his name because he's like, you're not going to survive to tell me. He'll tell anybody else my name. So I'll give you my real name. You're just going to be one of the pile. Littered across I-10.
Oh, and that was the other thing about the original. At the very beginning, they show this they pop up text. There's 42,000 people die on the highways in America every year. And I'm like, well, how many of those are car accidents?
Right.
You're trying to make it look like, John Ryder's out there killing 42,000 people.
I tried to get 10 a day in, it's a strenuous regimen.
Jesus.
Went down from last year.
If I kill this entire bus, I can take a week off.
I think that'll do it for this episode. What are you thinking for our... What is this, August?
This is August, September. I don't know.
What do you feel like?
Should we get into the Halloween spirit and do this is kind of horror, but it was more a psychological horror, not straight out horror.
What's that?
Like
it's about this one.
Yeah, Hitcher.
I mean, I think it's September, October.
Is there a Friday the 13th in September? We can do Friday the 13th.
Let us double check right now. Let's see if we can get one in September or October. There is a Friday the 13th in September.
Why don't we do Friday the 13th?
That sounds like a plan to me.
There we go.
All right, then I'll do a quick turnaround and I get this out on Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Then. All right, then. I guess it'll be Friday the 13th next month.
Cool.
All right, until then, you guys take it easy and have a good one.